Hey there. Hello there. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. It is the last day of August. The last day of August, y'all. Summer is about to come to an end. I'm super okay with that because I'm in the South. I'm in the deep South, y'all, and it's hot still. It's still pretty freaking warm. It's gonna be nice for the rest of the week. The weekend, Labor Day weekend, looking lovely. What are your Labor Day plans? Why do we celebrate Labor Day again? Someone tell me why. um yeah, I am just out here camping. It's been really nice. Have had a wonderful after event week and looking forward to Charlotte. I think that's going to be a really great event. Again, check out PulseChainTour.com to get your tickets for the Charlotte event. We're going to have two big hitters joining us for this event. Rags to riches, ladies and gentlemen. Sweetest ginger of them all. And then Crypto Sloth. He's going to fix your teeth. He'll fix your brain. He's a smart man. Real cool dude. So welcome again. Thanks for everyone joining. I see Rectangle in the chat. What's up, friend? Hey, man. Open invite anytime you want to or are interested in trying to stream. I remember we talked about that. You just let me know. I send you a link. We'll figure it out. It's going to be great. I'm actually super intrigued because you mentioned that you have a whole setup in like your basement or something or garage. And I think that you should just go for it, man. You already got it set up. Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on. Bring it. Bring it on. D-Raj. What's up, D-Raj? Namaste, friend. D-Raj says, we celebrate Labor Day because it's secretly a pagan festival. Well, isn't that every holiday? Almost every holiday, especially the Christian holidays, are originally based on some pagan tradition or some kind of pagan holiday. I started celebrating pagan holidays a few years ago because it made more sense to me in terms of the cycles of the year and the way that the seasons change. I think that it's lovely to celebrate the changing of the seasons. And I believe that's a lot of what paganism and pagan celebrations revolved around, right? And that's why, ooh, it's a great segue, D-Raj. This is a that's why, or I feel that we are disconnected from a lot of this earthly knowledge, right? And our ancestors had so much more of a connection to the changing of the seasons, to the way the stars moved across the sky, to the way the oceans affected, or the tides affected the crops, and the way that the rivers would rise and fall with the changing of the moon cycles and the tides and everything like that is just, yeah, it's like we have data, right? Like we have the information on how that's happening and maybe how it affects certain things, but we're not connected to it anymore. We don't really celebrate those changes or even give enough of a voice to the fact that they're happening. So I'm curious if y'all have listened to or heard about how the changing of the moon cycle also affects the markets. And of course, this is not something I talk about often on my channel. I don't go into price chats or things like that, but I'm super curious. What do you think? Do you think that the moon does in fact affect our moods? Have you ever noticed the crazies that come out around the full moon? In fact, I was going to go into downtown Nashville again last night, but just thinking about the fact that it's a full moon and it's just if you've never been to Nashville and you've never been to Austin, that's the closest comparison I can give is downtown Austin on 6th Street, because they closed the street for blocks for a good 6, 7, 8 blocks. They shut down on both ends the street so that people are just, there's bars on both sides, there's live music going on everywhere, and people are just kind of out in the streets drinking and being crazy and rambunctious. And so same vibe with Nashville, except on a more intense level. There's definitely more of a stretch that's closed off, more bars, more music. Oh, there's a whole lot going on here. And I just said, no. It's like there's other things to do around here, and I'm gonna enjoy some nature. Went and just tried to get some really good views of the moon as it was rising. So beautiful. I hope you all got a chance to enjoy that. It'll probably also look full this evening if you go out and you didn't get to see it last night. I'd say just go take that in. Go out there and just let the moon beams shine on you. So this was a super moon, and it was a blue supermoon. So supermoons are, from what I understand, when the moon is closer to the earth or appears closer. So it's called a supermoon because it's appearing very large in the sky. And a blue moon is a moon that is a full moon that happens twice in the same month. So they don't happen often because usually you just get one full moon a month because of the way the cycle works. But we had already one full moon earlier in August, and this was the second full moon in August, making it a blue moon. So that's why there's the saying once in a blue moon, because that doesn't happen very often. In fact, it's not going to happen again until 2037. And it didn't happen, I believe the last time it happened was 2009. So that's why people say, oh, well, once in a blue moon, I do this, or once in a blue moon. It's nearly every 15 years. That might be wrong. Let's see, 2009, 19, 20, 22, 23. Yeah, maybe it's every 14 or 15 years it'll happen. So let's see what the chat's saying. Let's see here. We got Rectangle says, yes, a must. LOL, almost finished setting it all up. Hope all is going well with you, though. Yes, all is going well with me. I'm glad to hear that you've got it almost all set up. That's super exciting. It's people move forward in their own way, right? In different ways. I did not have any kind of a setup when I started streaming. I think I just had my laptop. I didn't have a microphone or even a light. I might have had a light. I did have a light because I was used to doing recording for acting gigs. I would have to do my auditions mostly online through that time. So I did have a light, but that was about it. Just a light and my laptop. And I was, I just wanted to get started. So kudos to you for knowing that it's nice to have a studio set up. But for anyone else out there who's looking into, wanting to stream, wanting to talk more about this ecosystem or other things in general, there's no rules. You don't need to have a fancy camera or lights or anything like that. Just get started. That's my 2 cents on that. Paul Sachs appears. What's up, Paul? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. D-Rush says, good to see you, Paul Sachs. Paul says, you too, doctor. Love it. Love the back and forth here. D-Rush says, the moon cycle definitely affects sea fishing yield. So it definitely affects the markets. That is a very intuitive thought right there. That makes a lot of sense. Why wouldn't it, right? If the tides are affecting the fishing catch, I guess that you can take that back to a simpler time, right? When we really heavily relied on, not that we don't anymore, but it was more obvious, right? Back in the day, along with everything. That's kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying earlier about us being disconnected from these cycles. So I think people don't see it as much or don't give as much credence to it, but it definitely is still something that is happening. And, we see that reflected in all these different markets and in the price. So yeah, very interesting observations. Paul Sachs says, last blue moon was before RH was into BTC. Interesting. Wow. Put that into perspective right there. What a trip, right? So yeah, I think it was 2009. That would have been quite a while ago. What a trip. And Footsteps says, "Nice hair, SJ." Thank you. Thank you so much. I actually need to get it cut a little because my bangs are getting long, but I appreciate that. So yeah, probably not a very long stream. Wanted to come say hello and ask y'all what you think about this blue moon. I am going to share. Let's see if I can find it. I took some pretty cool pictures. Last night, it was a little more difficult to take the pictures last night, maybe just because it was so dark, but I ended up taking a few this morning. I woke up early, and at my campground, you can see there's a lake right here, and you can see the moon setting over the lake. I noticed as I got back to my campground in the evening that it was on this other side where all these trees are, and I thought, "Oh, I wonder if in the morning it'll be," because I hadn't, like, been tracking the moon tracking, like, the moon path? Yeah, there you go, the path of the moon. I hadn't noticed it before, but I thought, I bet you it's gonna look really pretty in the morning on the other side there, so it in fact did, and let me share with you real quick. Do, this. I'm just gonna shill myself here. So this is from my Instagram, and I have 2 Instagram accounts. This is my main account, a wild SJ, just like my social media is everywhere. And if you look there, the Poetry by SJ, that's my professional account, I guess you would say. It's an account that I've used for many years to promote my artwork, which is I call Poetry. I've been doing that for, gosh, since college, so quite a while. And what Poetry is, digitally, it's different. Physically, what I do is I will take photos, and I've been a photographer all my life. I actually have a degree in photography, which in hindsight seems like a silly thing to have done because I just have that eye, right? I didn't really need to go to school. I thought I was going to teach photography, so that's part of why I went down that path, but that's neither here nor there. So, anyways, I love taking pictures. I also love poetry. So, hence, poetry is where I will take a photograph that I really love or something that, like, brings up some emotions in me after I've taken it. And I'll print that out, no bigger than 8 by 10. And then I'll run it through a typewriter and I'll actually type a little poem or a little phrase, just something kind of whimsical. So physically type through a typewriter onto this print of a photograph that I've taken. And that's what I used to sell at little farmers markets and things like that. It's called Poetry. So if you want to check out my other account, I'm not very active on it, but every now and then I'll post. You can check out Poetry by SJ. And this is the poem that I wrote. Full blue moon, our hearts swoon. Feel push and pull as we fine tune. And that's kind of a shout out to the way that the moon can affect our energy. I do believe that it does. In fact, yesterday I saw this I saw a meme on Instagram earlier that put it into great words for me, but yesterday I was just so emotional. And not good or bad necessarily, just kind of processing things and processing, what I'm going through in life right now. But I just kept having this like swelling up of emotion, right? It's like the moon with the tides, right? The moon pulls the tides and it feels as if it pulls these emotions out of us. So that, my friends, that is what I was going through yesterday. Let me know in the chat if you were feeling any of that too. I'm super curious to find out, especially, people that are a little more in tune with their bodies, a little more in tune with nature. Were you feeling that energy at all? Did you see anything? Have you had any weird full moon experiences? Super interested to find out about that. All right. So we've got, let's see, Rectangle here says, yeah, you're right. Just dive in. And as they say, I think you mean, not everything can be perfect. Very true. So remember that as you're setting up, right? You've got your setup, you've got things going. And hey, even if you want to practice offline, like if you want to just go into StreamYard with me and, make sure, hey, is my setup good? Can you hear me all right? Can you see me fine? Totally would love to help you with that. But yes, not everything needs to be perfect. Just dive right in. D-Raj says, so can I join the stream sometime? I promise I won't crack any inappropriate jokes. Who are you, Finbear? That's Finbear's job. I guess you do that too, huh, D-Raj? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Not today. I'm going to cut it short today. But I'll keep that in mind for sure. And I will send you the link. Probably not tomorrow. I might take tomorrow off. It's a travel day. So usually on my travel days, I want to just kind of make sure that I'm getting from spot to spot and just getting everything plugged in and situated. But we'll see. I'll keep you posted, D-Raj, for sure. What also, let me know if you don't want to put it in the chat. Let me know what your time zone is so that I'm not streaming at some ridiculously late time when you're asleep. That would be good to know. DJ Bomber says, good evening, heart. Good evening. Good day. Good day to those here in the States. I think you're in Europe somewhere. Is that right, DJ Bomber? You also don't have to say, but I'm just intrigued because you said good evening. Footsteps says, a woman with many talents this wild day. Oh shucks, thank you indeed. Speaking of many talents, man, I had a really cool like compliment thread with Lamont. I feel like I should know more of his name, but you know the dude that's the Professor Lamont, right? A lot of people recommended Sci-Vive to him, and in that had my Audible version posted there, or the audio version posted. And it was very sweet of him. He said that he really enjoyed it, and what he was very said a couple times about how great my voice is and how I should be doing more audiobook work. And that was super encouraging. I have done auditions in the past. It's been a little tougher because that field really blew up through the whole COVID thing. A lot of people realized, oh, I can just work from home. I can do this thing. You know, that was a big sector that a lot of people kind of went into. So it became a little more difficult. I got a little discouraged, but hey, that was super encouraging. So thank you, Doctor, is he a doctor? Professor Lamont. Appreciate your kind words. And I will probably do a little bit more in terms of auditioning for those books again. Cause it's not too, the auditions aren't too terrible. It doesn't take that long. It's just getting that oomph, whatever you want to call it. Getting that oomph back to get that. Oh, thank you. Lamont Black. That is the dude. Lamont Black Hexagon. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's definitely been really talking up our community, and I love his take on it. I really like the way that he puts out, like the tweets that he puts out are, I think, very concise and very educational, and he's doing us a great service. So super kudos to you, Lamont Black. Let's see. Oh, I skipped a bunch of things. Paul says, also was irritating yesterday. Dog was pissing me off, I think you mean. Yeah, irritable. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the emotions can just kind of like the tides, right? They ebb and flow and they rise and fall. DJ Bomber is in the UK. Big up to you. Big up to you. So I actually noticed I might have Facebook stalked you a little bit. Colette Warren, huge fan of her. I love the shit out of that woman. She is, for those of you that don't know, Colette is a drum and bass vocalist. I don't know. Does she? I think she also produces, perhaps. I know her dude does. But yeah, love Colette. I think there were a couple other people that I saw that we had as friends in common through the drum and bass scene. Man, I can't wait to go back. I actually had plans to go to Hospitality in the Woods a few years ago, and that just got wrecked. That whole trip got wrecked because we were supposed to leave, and then 2 weeks before that there was another COVID shutdown. So, and it was only Amsterdam. Like I was supposed to fly into Amsterdam, and of all the countries, they decided, no, like we can't have any of this here. So I didn't get money back for the event. I think I missed out on like a hotel that I had booked. I didn't get money back for that either. So that was just a whole shit show. But I would love to go back to I mean, there's so much drum and bass in the UK. I mean, I feel like that's kind of in part where it was really born and came to a head. And so God, so many DJs out there that like will never come to the States. There's a good number of them, but man, you got to get out there, enjoy some of that for me because man, Fabric, like, ugh, so many great clubs that I've never had the chance to go to, but someday, Paul Sachs says, hi. Okay, D-Raj, you are in Asian Pacific Manila time. So Boston plus 12 hours. Okay, wow. So you're like super flipped right now. So what is it like? Is it like 2 a.m. there or something? You up late. You up late, friend. All right. D-Raj says you can do LibreVox audiobooks if you want to build a portfolio. I think I've heard of that before. I actually did take an audiobook reading class. So if you didn't know, I did Sci-Vive twice. The first time around I did it, I had absolutely no experience. You can hear lawnmowers and dogs barking and birds chirping in the background of most of it if you listen closely. Maybe some other things. Who knows? But I just did it because I thought, why the hell not? I'm going to read this thing anyways, and there's no audiobook, so I'm going to record myself. Well, after doing that and getting such great feedback and such a wonderful sorry, hold on. I just got to check on something real quick. Okay, good. I just have to make sure my kitty is sleeping. She's so cute. Um, I got such positive feedback from everybody about the first Sci-Vive that I thought, why don't I do this professionally and get it so that it can be on Audible? So between the first and second iterations of Sci-Vive, I took this audiobook class. I learned how to do the audio editing. I learned better what kind of microphones to use. I actually got an upgraded microphone that I use for vocal recording and just went hard. So in that vocal class, I did learn about that a little bit. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Rectangle says, "You're awesome. That's extremely nice of you. And yes, full moons definitely affects people's moods. Plus, when a full moon is out on a clear night, you really get a different perspective seeing everything." That's so true. I love taking walks during the full moon or when the moon's bright enough to do so. Everything is just lit up in this very ethereal, magical way. And that's very well said. You get a different perspective on everything in the evening. DJ Bomber says, Colette Warren. Yeah, what did I say? I must have said the wrong name, but yes, that's exactly who I mean. Colette Warren. Yeah, she's a badass. Rectangle says, personally, I think Lamont Black will be the catalyst in the next Hex bull cycle, but that's me. I think there's a lot of little catalysts on the fire right now, to be honest with you, but he's definitely one of them. Super exciting to just see his enthusiasm for our community. And I'm intrigued to know or find out what he's saying in his classes, right? Because it seemed as if he would have been speaking about Bitcoin in the past to his students. So like, is he speaking about Hex to them now, right? Super, super cool. Joris, Andre Perolino says his own name. What's up, Joris? Good to see you. Glad you're here. DJ Bomber says, I've known her forever. We're from the same city. Badass. That's so cool. DJ Bomber says, we used to go all the raves back in the day. That's great, man. Yeah, she is a doll. She's like such a gem in the community. And it's so fun to me how big of an overlap there is between drum and bass and Hex. Like, I love that. I feel like the majority of the DJs that are a part of this crew are into drum and bass, or at least know about it, or have got a few vinyl records that are in that genre. So that's been a really fun thing for me because that was my community before this, basically. Like, I was in the drum and bass scene in Austin for years, many, many years. And that was my weekly, I'd go out every week. That was church, right? Like, it's speaking of church, I just joined a group called Hex Church. And, it's like one of those groups where just like, oh, we're not scared of being called a cult and yada, yada, yada. And I get called the cult queen on the daily because of these Sci-Vive quotes. So I'm just like, why not? Right. Just play into it. So it's quite the community we have here, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, you can make a difference. For real. If again, I just kind of want to put this out there. This is like my message of the day is if you want to be someone who is, has a voice in this community, know that you do. Know that, and this is something Rectangle and I spoke about a little bit, right? Sometimes it'll feel like all the bases are covered. Probably not right now because, bear market, a lot of our content creators have kind of disappeared or are taking a break or doing whatever, rightfully so. They can do whatever they want. But when the bear market or bull market comes back, and of course, again, this is my first cycle. So this is me just taking from things that I've heard from other content creators who've been around longer than myself. But there is going to be such a huge influx, not only of people, of content creators who already are creating content about other coins and other cryptos. They're going to start talking about PulseChain. But we're going to have an influx of people who maybe have just been kind of in the background for a while, right? Maybe they've held Pulse for these last few years and are now ready to be out and say, hey, like this is something that I'm super passionate about. It's exciting because the bull market is coming and, let's talk about this. Even with all that in mind, should you feel that everything is covered, know that it's not, because everyone has their own flavor, right? Like everyone's kind of got their own spice in life and not, you're different. You're different than, Crypto Heartbeat or Rags to Riches or, name a content creator. Everyone has their own different vibe. And the way that I present things is not going to be the way anyone else does. So, and the content that I come out with, right, is also very niche, right? I'm very often talking about Sci-Vibe and Richard and what he's doing. So that is just the message that I wanted to send out there today, is that there's only one you. You have a very unique take on whatever it is that you want to talk about. So, whether that's TA or, speculation or just your journey, right? Maybe you've been in crypto for the last 10 years and have never told anyone about it. And now you're finally like, hey, I feel like I kind of want to talk about this more and be a part of a community. So with that being said, I think I'm going to wrap it up, y'all. I'm just going to say what's up to these other few. Got John Bishop up in here. John Bishop says the bull market brings all the boys to the yard 100%. And Rectangle says 100. All right, y'all. So that's it. It's just a super quick stream. Just wanted to check in and say hello. I hope you enjoyed the super moon. If you didn't get to do it last night, check it out tonight. It'll still be pretty dang full looking. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, drink water. Don't forget to smile.